Allegedly, the song Daughter on Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album.
I love that one.
It's potentially a murder confession about Jay-Z's mistress, Kathie White. Kathie White was known to be pregnant in 2011. Shortly after giving birth, Kathie died mysteriously in her apartment of a brain aneurysm.
So check this out, y'all. I'm in a super mystical frequency right now. Today is the second born day for Kim Porter. This is the day that she passed. And I'm just like in my backyard and I'm giving thanks.
Now you kind of look at him like scoundrels. What won't you do for that damn career? Listen, this is a disgusting business. That's all I'm going to say. This business is so disgusting that I can't. I think that Jay-Z and Beyonce are master manipulators of the media.
So, new details about Kim Porter's so-called lost diary are blowing up all over social media right now, and people are shocked at what's being hinted at. According to these circulating reports, Kim allegedly dropped some heavy clues about Kathie White, and it's got everyone talking again. For years, there have been whispers that Kathie wasn't just loosely connected to Jay-Z, but possibly much closer than people thought. Some rumors even go as far as claiming she had ties involving Beyonce too, especially through speculation about surrogacy. None of this has ever been fully confirmed, but the internet is running wild with it again. What's really surprising people is the idea that Kim Porter and Beyonce might have had more of a connection than the public ever saw. Most people don't remember seeing them together much, if at all, so the assumption was always that they moved in totally separate circles. But now, with these diary rumors resurfacing, people are saying Kim may have known more than she ever let on. And when you think about her position in the industry, it does make some wonder. She was closely tied to major figures, including being the mother of children with someone who once had strong connections to Jay-Z. That alone has people thinking she could have had insight into things happening behind closed doors. The topic of celebrities using surrogates isn't new at all, but it always becomes a huge deal when people think someone wasn't honest about it. In this case, Beyonce and Jay-Z keep getting dragged back into the conversation because of all the mystery and speculation tied to Kathie White's story. Again, nothing has been proven, but the timing and the rumors have kept people questioning things for years. And now, with Kim Porter's alleged diary entries being discussed again, it's like everything is being reopened for debate. Some people online are even drawing eerie comparisons between Kim Porter and Kathie White, suggesting their stories have strange similarities. That's where things start to feel a bit unsettling for a lot of viewers. It's important to remember that much of this is speculation, but the way these stories are being told has definitely caught attention. Many people say they've come across pieces of Kim's diary before, especially after a biography surfaced that reportedly included selected excerpts, but according to current claims, that was just a small portion of what was actually written. Now people are saying the full diary allegedly contains even more shocking details about multiple celebrities in the industry. That idea alone has sparked a wave of curiosity and concern. Some are even questioning what happened to her personal belongings, with rumors claiming her laptop disappeared after her passing. Again, these are claims being spread online, not confirmed facts, but they are adding to the mystery surrounding everything. To give an idea of why people are so stunned, one of the alleged entries that's being talked about describes a very unusual and controversial situation involving major celebrities. The claims suggest Kim wrote about being put in uncomfortable scenarios during her relationship, framed in a way that sounds intense and hard to believe. It's important to approach these stories carefully because they are serious and not verified, but the way they're being shared has definitely grabbed attention. Now, for those who may not know much about Kathie White, her name has been tied to Jay-Z for years through rumors of an alleged relationship. One of the most talked about claims was that she was expecting a child connected to him, though again, this was never publicly confirmed. What made her story even more shocking to people was her sudden passing from a reported brain aneurysm, which happened not long before she was said to be preparing for a major interview. That timing raised a lot of eyebrows online, and ever since then, people have continued to speculate about what she might have revealed. Some believe she was planning to speak about her alleged relationship with Jay-Z, while others think the story goes even deeper. There have also been ongoing rumors suggesting she could have been connected to Beyonce in a more complicated way, particularly the idea of surrogacy. These claims have never been proven, but they continue to circulate. According to some versions of the story, things allegedly became tense when it was said that Kathie was ready to go public with her claims. People online claim she wanted to expose what she believed was the truth about certain situations, including questions about whether Beyonce carried her own child or used a surrogate. That topic has been debated for years, with no solid evidence confirming those rumors, but it keeps resurfacing whenever stories like this come up. What makes all of this even more intense is how these different narratives are now being linked together through Kim Porter's alleged diary. Whether there's any truth to these claims or not, the way they're spreading shows how quickly speculation can grow when big names are involved. Right now, it's a mix of curiosity, disbelief, and concern as people try to figure out what's real and what's just rumor. At the end of the day, none of these claims have been officially confirmed, and it's important to keep that in mind while looking at these stories. Still, the drama, the mystery, and the connections being suggested have definitely pulled people in, and it doesn't look like the conversation is slowing down anytime soon.
In 2011, Jay-Z's longtime mistress Kathie White was laid into eternal rest after she was about to go public with her relationship with Jay-Z. Kathie White was also pregnant at the time, and at the time that she was laid into eternal rest, that's about the same time that Blue Ivy was born. Yes, Beyonce did know about this woman, but it would have been a bad image if Jay-Z was caught in a scandal of cheating with this woman. So the lady actually reached out to Jay-Z and said that she was going to expose him. And as soon as she done that, a few days later, she was found dead under mysterious death. Okay, so they were saying, that it was a brain aneurysm, but the coroner actually said that they didn't know, that it was suspicious. So they still never found out exactly how she passed away, but it was just said as a brain aneurysm in the very beginning. But that actually wasn't the way of the reason.
You see, around the same time all of this drama was unfolding, Kim Porter was still alive, which means she was allegedly watching everything play out in real time. And because of how close certain circles were in the industry, people believe she had a front row seat to some of the biggest moments being whispered about behind the scenes. The connection everyone keeps pointing to is the long-standing friendship between Jay-Z and Diddy. That bond alone has fueled years of speculation, with people constantly questioning just how much each of them knew about the other's personal business. At one point, the rumors surrounding Diddy became so intense that Jay-Z's name even started getting pulled into conversations online, with some people going as far as to suggest he might have known more than he ever let on. There has never been proof of that, but it didn't stop the internet from running with the idea. Because of that close friendship, many believe that anything involving Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Kathie White would have at least been visible within those elite circles. And if Kim Porter was present in that environment, it's easy to see why people think she may have picked up on certain things that never made it to the public. Now, this is where the story really starts to heat up. According to what's being reported, Kim allegedly wrote about some of these situations in her private diary, giving her own perspective on what she witnessed or heard at the time. These claims suggest that she didn't hold back either, and that some of her entries touched on the same rumors that have been circulating online for years. Again, none of this has been confirmed, but the idea that she documented it in real time has people completely hooked. And then things escalated even more when public figures started talking about it. Candace Owens, for example, reportedly got access to a version of the book containing parts of these alleged writings, and she didn't stay quiet about it for long. She took to her podcast and began discussing what she had read, adding her own reactions and interpretations into the mix. That alone pushed the story even further into the spotlight, because once a well-known voice starts speaking on something like this, it spreads fast. But here's the twist that really has people talking. The book, according to these claims, didn't just focus on Kathie White or the rumors surrounding Jay-Z and Beyonce. It allegedly went into other controversial topics tied to the industry as a whole. Some of the entries being discussed online suggest Kim wrote about events and situations that made her uncomfortable, describing an environment that felt intense and at times overwhelming. These parts of the story are being shared widely, but it's important to approach them carefully because they remain unverified claims. There are also mentions of her allegedly discovering receipts connected to serious situations involving powerful figures. Now, this is where things cross into extremely sensitive territory. Some online discussions claim that these writings included accusations about major wrongdoing involving multiple high-profile names. However, there is no confirmed evidence supporting those claims, and they should be treated as speculation rather than fact. Still, the way these allegations are being repeated has added another layer of shock to an already explosive story. What's interesting is how all these different threads keep connecting back to the same small circle of influential people. That's part of why this story keeps gaining traction. People see overlapping relationships, shared spaces, and long histories between these celebrities, and it makes the rumors feel more believable to some viewers. Even without proof, the connections alone are enough to keep the conversation alive. At the same time, it's worth stepping back and recognizing how quickly stories can evolve once they hit social media. A single claim can turn into a full narrative within hours, especially when it involves names this big. That's exactly what seems to be happening here. Pieces of alleged diary entries, secondhand reports, and commentary from public figures are all blending together into one massive story that's hard for people to ignore. And let's be real, the reason this is grabbing so much attention is because it mixes mystery, power, and secrecy all in one. People are naturally drawn to stories that suggest there's more happening behind the scenes than what's being shown publicly. When you add in something as personal as a diary, it makes everything feel even more intense, like you're getting access to thoughts that were never meant to be shared. Still, it's important to keep things in perspective. None of these claims about the diary, the events described, or the alleged connections have been officially confirmed. They remain part of a larger wave of speculation that continues to grow as more people talk about it. But whether true or not, the impact is clear. This story has people paying attention, questioning old narratives, and looking at these high-profile relationships in a completely different way. And with more voices jumping into the conversation every day, it doesn't seem like this topic is going anywhere anytime soon.
In the book, Porter allegedly recounts discovering and making copies of the tapes that Diddy made of himself having with young boys that he was managing, including an alleged tape involving an 18-year-old pop star who went on to become a household name. Porter alleges that when she discovered those videotapes of Sean and his encounters in the bedroom in this vault.
Now, the reason some people online believe Beyonce and Jay-Z would have had a serious issue with Kathie White isn't just tied to those long-running surrogate rumors. The bigger claim being pushed is that Beyonce was publicly presenting herself as pregnant at the time, and if someone had come forward with a completely different version of events, it could have caused a massive backlash. That's the angle a lot of these discussions are coming from right now, and it's exactly why this story keeps gaining traction. The argument being made is simple but explosive. If everything was just about surrogacy, most people wouldn't even care that much. Surrogacy has become pretty common, especially among celebrities who deal with health risks and demanding careers. It's not the shocking part anymore. The real controversy, according to these rumors, is the idea that someone might have been publicly claiming one story while another version was happening behind the scenes. That's what people are saying could have caused serious damage if it ever came out in a confirmed way. And that's where Kathie White's name keeps getting pulled back into the conversation. Some online discussions claim that she was allegedly in a position to reveal information that contradicted what the public believed at the time. Again, there's no verified proof of this, but the theory suggests that if she had gone forward with those claims, it would have created a media storm unlike anything seen before. We're talking about headlines everywhere, constant interviews, and endless debates across social platforms. What really fuels this narrative is how carefully public images are managed at that level of fame. Beyonce, in particular, has built a reputation around control, privacy, and perfection in how her story is presented. That's not a criticism, it's just the reality of being one of the biggest global stars. So when people imagine a situation where that image could be challenged in a major way, they immediately assume it would be taken very seriously. Whether that assumption is fair or not is a whole different question. Now, to put things into perspective, it's important to remember that surrogacy itself is not controversial in the way it used to be. Plenty of celebrities have openly chosen that route, and many have been honest about their reasons. Kim Kardashian is probably one of the most well-known examples of this. She has spoken publicly about her experiences, explaining exactly why she decided to use a surrogate for some of her children. After having her first two kids, North and Saint, Kim faced serious medical complications during pregnancy. One of the conditions she dealt with was placenta accreta, which is when the placenta attaches too deeply into the uterine wall. That's not something minor. It's actually considered very dangerous. It can lead to severe bleeding and other life-threatening issues, which is why doctors strongly advised her not to carry more children herself. That's a huge decision for anyone to face. Because of those risks, Kim chose to use surrogates for her third and fourth children. And here's the key difference that people keep pointing out in these conversations. She was completely open about it. There was no attempt to present a different story or hide the process. She talked about it in interviews, on her show, and across social media, making sure people understood the reality of her situation. That level of transparency is exactly why her case is often used as a comparison in discussions like this. Now, when people bring Beyonce into the conversation, they're not just talking about surrogacy itself, they're focusing on the perception of honesty versus secrecy. The claim being pushed in these rumors is that if someone were presenting one narrative publicly while something else was happening privately, that's where the real issue would come in. Not the surrogate, but the story around it. Of course, it's important to be clear that there has never been confirmed evidence proving these claims about Beyonce. She has spoken about her pregnancy experiences in her own way, and her story remains her own. The theories circulating online are based on speculation, not verified facts, but that hasn't stopped people from continuing to debate and question every detail. And when you mix that kind of speculation with a figure like Kathie White, whose story already has mystery surrounding it, things naturally become even more intense. People start connecting dots, building timelines, and creating narratives that feel convincing even without solid proof. That's exactly what's happening here, and it's why this topic refuses to fade away. At the end of the day, what's really driving this conversation is the idea of image versus reality. People are fascinated by the possibility that what they see in public might not always match what's happening behind closed doors. Add in high-profile names, emotional topics like pregnancy, and unresolved questions, and you've got a story that keeps pulling people back in again and again. Whether any of these claims ever get proven or completely debunked, one thing is clear: the combination of celebrity, secrecy, and speculation is powerful enough on its own to keep this narrative alive and spreading across the internet at full speed.
I need to talk to you about this Beyonce baby bump conspiracy rumor, fake pregnancy thing that's being alleged. I just don't even know where to start, so I'm going to take you through it step by step. Here's how the rumor got started. Beyonce recently, like last Sunday, appeared on an Australian show. And when she sat down, the baby bump squashed, bent, and crumpled.
Nicole Kidman is another big name that often comes up in these conversations, especially when people start talking about surrogacy in Hollywood. She has been open about the fact that she faced serious fertility struggles over the years, which is something many people can relate to. After dealing with multiple challenges, Nicole and her husband made the decision to use a surrogate for their second biological daughter. It wasn't a flashy announcement or something they put out right away either, which is where things start to connect to the bigger discussion. What really caught people's attention is that Nicole and her husband chose to keep the surrogacy completely private until after the baby was born. That detail is important because it shows how differently celebrities handle these situations. Some are very open from the start, while others prefer to keep things quiet until they're ready to share. In Nicole's case, she eventually spoke about it, but only after everything was already done. That approach made people look back and realize they had no idea what was happening behind the scenes at the time. Now, this is where the comparisons start flying around online. People have pointed out that this kind of privacy is similar to what Beyonce has been rumored to have done during her pregnancy with Blue Ivy. To be clear, those claims about Beyonce remain unproven, but they continue to circulate in discussions like this. The idea is that while some celebrities eventually confirm surrogacy, others are accused of taking things a step further by presenting a completely different narrative to the public, while keeping the real situation hidden.
Hold on. As ridiculous as it sounds, you know I did my research and we've got the video to prove. Hold on. So people started questioning, was this baby bump real or fake? Now, being a woman who, I had my baby bump, many of you have had baby bumps, I never remember my baby bump squat. Just take a look at the video. Okay, so here's Beyonce and she's walking out and everything is fine. She's 5 months pregnant. Then she sits down and, okay, no, we're gonna rerun it until you see it. Let's do it in slow motion. You'll notice she's either giving birth to a frisbee or Stewie from Family Guy. Look at the shape. Look, do you see? There it is, there it is. What that is, B?
And that's the part that keeps these rumors alive. It's not just about whether a surrogate was used, it's about the possibility that the public story didn't match the private reality. Some online communities have built entire theories around this idea, analyzing photos, interviews, and timelines in an attempt to prove their claims. None of that counts as verified evidence, but it shows how deeply people are invested in figuring these stories out. When you zoom out, you'll notice that Beyonce's name keeps getting pulled into these conversations over and over again, not because of confirmed facts, but because of how massive her public image is. People tend to question anything that feels too polished or perfectly controlled. So when rumors like this appear, they spread quickly because they challenge that image in a dramatic way. And interestingly, Beyonce and Jay-Z aren't the only high-profile couple to be dragged into these kinds of theories. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have also found themselves right in the middle of similar speculation. Yes, even them. Some conspiracy-focused discussions have claimed that Meghan may have used surrogates for her children as well. Just like with Beyonce, these claims have never been proven, but they continue to circulate online. The theories around Meghan go even further, which is why they've gained so much attention. Some people have suggested that the baby bump she showed in public appearances wasn't real, but instead a prosthetic designed to maintain the appearance of pregnancy. That's a very serious claim, and again, there is no credible evidence supporting it. Still, the rumor has spread widely across certain corners of the internet, with people dissecting every photo and video looking for clues.
Okay, now let's bring it back and freeze it. Yeah, oh yeah, we're analyzing. There it is. What is that? Is that a baby bump? I don't know. I was on bed rest the whole time. I'm not exactly sure. But I can tell you, when I would get out of the bed and sit up at a kitchen table, I wouldn't be able to sit like that. Like I was so concerned about my back and the baby, even at 5 months, I sat like this, right? Well, look. Beyonce has denied these rumors, saying that they're stupid and they're ridiculous. Beyonce's pregnancy is a way of keeping Jay-Z's alleged mistress.
What's wild is how these different stories keep getting linked together. Meghan and Harry have been mentioned in the same conversations as Beyonce and Jay-Z, not because there's any confirmed connection in this context, but because the rumors follow a similar pattern. Once one high-profile figure is accused of something like this, it opens the door for others to be pulled into the same narrative. It becomes less about facts and more about speculation feeding off speculation. At the center of all this is a bigger conversation about privacy, image, and public expectation. Celebrities are constantly balancing how much of their personal lives they want to share with the world. Some choose transparency, like Kim Kardashian, while others keep things tightly controlled until they feel comfortable speaking out. Neither approach is wrong, but when there's a lack of information, people often fill in the gaps with their own theories. And that's exactly what's happening here. You've got real examples of surrogacy, like Nicole Kidman's story, mixed with unproven claims about other celebrities. Then those stories get blended into one big narrative that feels convincing to some people, even without solid proof. It's a powerful reminder of how quickly speculation can grow, especially when it involves famous names and emotional topics like family and motherhood. At the end of the day, it's important to separate confirmed facts from online rumors. Nicole Kidman's experience is something she has openly addressed, while the claims about Beyonce and Meghan Markle remain unverified. But because they all exist in the same conversation space, they continue to influence how people see each story. And with social media constantly bringing old rumors back to life, it looks like these discussions aren't slowing down anytime soon. The mix of mystery, fame, and unanswered questions keeps people watching closely, waiting to see if anything new will finally bring clarity to all the speculation.
Away. Beyonce's going to use a surrogate so she can maintain her body, but they're going to play it off like it's allegedly, like they gave birth. Now, you remember I was the first one to say this, and you remember, because wait, I haven't said it yet. Watch. It's going to be an at-home water birth in the master bathroom. There are going to be 3 people there. Beyonce, Jay-Z, and her mother, Miss Tina. Watch.
Now, here's where the story takes an even sharper turn, because once people started connecting all these dots, the conversation didn't just stay about surrogacy anymore. It evolved into something much bigger, with folks online questioning how much control powerful celebrities really have over the narratives we see every day. And once that door opened, everything tied to Kim Porter's alleged diary started hitting differently. People began to look back at her story with a whole new lens. They started asking why certain details from her life only seemed to surface in fragments, and why these supposed diary entries are only now being pushed into the spotlight. According to the rumors, Kim wasn't just casually writing about her life. She was allegedly documenting things she witnessed in real time, things she may have felt uneasy about. That idea alone has made people question just how much she really knew about the inner workings of these elite circles. And let's be honest, when you combine everything being said about Kathie White, it creates a narrative that feels almost too wild to ignore. You've got one woman who was rumored to be on the verge of exposing something major, and another who allegedly kept detailed notes about the people around her. Whether true or not, that connection is exactly what has people glued to this story right now. Some online discussions are even suggesting that Kim may have been afraid to speak publicly, which is why, according to these claims, she kept everything written down instead. The idea being pushed is that a diary can't be interrupted, silenced, or dismissed in the moment. It just sits there, holding whatever truths or perspectives the writer chose to record. And now that these alleged entries are being talked about, people feel like they're getting access to something that was never meant to be seen. At the same time, others are pushing back hard on these claims, saying the whole thing sounds exaggerated or completely made up. And that's a fair point too. There's a huge difference between verified information and viral storytelling. Just because something spreads fast doesn't mean it's accurate. In fact, the bigger the names involved, the more likely it is that rumors will spiral out of control. Still, that hasn't stopped people from digging deeper. Social media users have been going through old interviews, past photos, and even body language clips, trying to find anything that supports these theories. It's like a full-blown investigation happening in real time, with thousands of people adding their own interpretations into the mix. Some claim certain moments now make sense, while others say it's all being taken out of context. And then there's the timing of everything, which many believe is just too strange to ignore. The resurfacing of Kim Porter's alleged diary, the continued mystery around Kathie White, and the ongoing rumors about high-profile couples all seem to be colliding at once. That overlap is what gives the story its intensity. It feels less like separate incidents and more like pieces of a puzzle that people are desperate to solve. Another layer that's adding fuel to the conversation is the idea of missing or hidden information. You've probably seen people mention things like lost files, missing devices, or unreleased content. In this case, there are claims floating around that certain personal items connected to Kim Porter were never fully accounted for. Again, nothing confirmed, but it adds that extra sense of mystery that keeps people hooked. And once mystery enters the picture, speculation grows fast. people start asking questions like, what was really in those writings? Who might have been mentioned? And why are we only hearing about certain parts now? Those questions don't have clear answers, but they keep the conversation alive and constantly evolving. What's really interesting is how this story reflects a bigger pattern in celebrity culture. The more private someone is, the more the public wants to know, and when information is limited, theories rush in to fill the gaps. It happens over and over again, especially with figures who maintain tight control over their image. That control can create admiration, but it can also spark suspicion. In this case, you've got multiple high-profile names, emotional topics, and unresolved questions all blending together into one massive narrative. It's not just about one person anymore. It's about an entire network of relationships, rumors, and what people believe might be happening behind closed doors. But here's the part that can't be ignored. No matter how detailed or convincing these stories may sound, they are still based on unverified claims. There's no official confirmation that Kim Porter's full diary contains the things being discussed, just like there's no solid proof backing many of the accusations tied to Kathie White or any of the other names being mentioned. That doesn't mean people will stop talking about it, though. If anything, the uncertainty is what keeps the story alive. People are drawn to unanswered questions, especially when they involve fame, power, and the possibility of hidden truths. It creates a kind of tension that's hard to look away from. And right now, that tension is exactly what's driving this entire narrative forward. Every new post, every clip, every discussion adds another layer, making it harder to separate fact from fiction. Some are convinced there's something deeper going on, while others see it as another example of how quickly rumors can spiral in the digital age. Either way, one thing is clear: this story isn't fading anytime soon. As long as there are unanswered questions and powerful names involved, people will keep digging, keep speculating, and keep trying to connect the dots. And with each new twist, the line between reality and fiction gets just a little bit harder to see.
Trevor put an article out there that Meghan had a hysterectomy and couldn't have children. And that was a big issue in their relationship. So that says a lot to the fake royal kids right now, because obviously they couldn't have come out of her. So that's something that she obviously is going to have to deal with eventually.
Anyway, circling back to Kim Porter, this is where the conversation gets even heavier, because a lot of people online have started speculating about the reason behind her passing. One of the biggest claims being pushed is that she may have known too much, and not just about one person, but about multiple powerful figures in the industry. That's the angle that keeps showing up in these discussions, and it's what's making the story feel even more intense to those following it closely. Now, to be clear, these are still claims and theories being shared online, not confirmed facts. But according to some of these narratives, Kim's knowledge wasn't limited to her personal relationship with Diddy. People are suggesting she may have been aware of broader situations involving other major names, including Jay-Z and Beyonce. Again, there's no verified evidence supporting that, but it's a key part of why her story keeps getting pulled into these larger conversations. What really adds to the speculation is how people compare her passing to that of Kathie White. You'll see a lot of posts pointing out what they believe are similarities between the two situations, describing both as sudden and surrounded by unanswered questions. That comparison alone has been enough to keep people talking, even though the circumstances in each case have not been officially linked in any confirmed way. Kim Porter's official cause of death was reported as pneumonia, which is a serious illness that can become life-threatening, especially if complications arise. That is the confirmed medical explanation. However, some online discussions have questioned that conclusion, bringing up additional claims about the scene when she was found. These claims include descriptions of unusual details, but it's important to stress that they have not been verified by credible sources. There are also rumors circulating about what was or wasn't found during the examination process. Some people online have claimed that there were inconsistencies or concerns raised at different stages, and that certain individuals involved in the case were replaced. These are serious allegations, but there is no confirmed public record supporting the idea of wrongdoing in the official investigation. Still, the presence of these claims has added to the overall sense of mystery for those following the story. And this is exactly how speculation builds. When people feel like there are gaps in information, they start trying to fill those gaps themselves. That often leads to theories that connect unrelated details or assume motives without evidence. In this case, one of the biggest theories is that Kim's alleged diary may have played a role in everything. The idea being shared is that if she had written down sensitive information, it could have made her a target. Again, this is speculation, not something that has been proven. Another detail that gets mentioned in these conversations is the claim that certain preparations or purchases were made before her passing. People have pointed to things like timing and circumstances as suspicious, even though there's no confirmed link between those details and any wrongdoing. It shows how closely people are analyzing every part of the story, looking for anything that might support their beliefs. Social media reactions have only made things louder. You'll find posts from people who are convinced something deeper is going on, calling for further investigation or reopening of cases. Others strongly disagree, saying the claims are disrespectful and not based on facts. It's a very divided conversation, with strong opinions on both sides. Some individuals have even gone as far as directly accusing public figures, tying together multiple stories into one larger theory. These kinds of statements spread quickly, especially when they involve well-known names, but they're not backed by verified evidence. It's important to approach those claims with caution instead of accepting them at face value. What's happening here is a clear example of how powerful a narrative can become once it gains momentum online. You've got emotional elements, high-profile people, and unanswered questions all blending together. That combination makes it easy for speculation to feel convincing, even when there's no solid proof behind it. At the same time, there's a real human side to all of this that can't be ignored. Kim Porter was a person with a family, children, and a life beyond these rumors. Turning her story into a series of unverified theories can sometimes overshadow that reality. It's something worth keeping in mind while looking at all the claims being shared. Now, when it comes to the idea of her exposing other celebrities, that's another part of the story that remains completely unconfirmed. There is no verified record of her publicly making those kinds of statements. The diary claims are still just that, claims, but because they involve such big names, they continue to spread and evolve with every retelling. And then there's the question people keep asking: what really happened in these situations? And will there ever be clear answers? Right now, there's no indication of any new official findings or reopened investigations connected to these rumors, but that hasn't stopped people from continuing to ask questions and share their theories. At the end of the day, this entire situation shows just how quickly stories can grow when they involve fame, mystery, and speculation. One claim leads to another, and before you know it, a full narrative has taken shape across the internet. Some people believe it, some don't, but everyone seems to have an opinion. So when you look at everything being said about Kim Porter, Kathie White, and the other names being mentioned, the most important thing is to separate confirmed facts from online rumors. There's a big difference between what's been officially reported and what's being speculated, even if the speculation sounds convincing. Still, there's no denying that this story has captured a lot of attention. People are invested, they're curious, and they want answers. Whether those answers ever come or not is another question entirely, but for now, the conversation keeps growing, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon.